Our movie starts today in Oman, and this is the Indian ambassador heading to the intelligence center in Oman to meet the commander. He tells him they want to intervene to help an Indian citizen in their custody. This is Samir, the Indian guy held in Oman, and the ambassador talks to him asking him to explain what happened so he can help. Samir says he doesn't want anything except his sweetheart Nargis. We then go back in time to find out what happened. Samir was with his family going to propose to Nargis. He tells them he's an engineer and knows a bit about electronics. Nargis then shows up and he looks at her with admiration because this was an arranged marriage and they didn't know each other before. They just came based on their good reputations. They decide to leave the two of them to talk. Outside, they begin speaking. He tells her that if her family is forcing this marriage on her, she should just say so. She replies asking who told him she even agreed to him in the first place. He says he's just making sure there isn't anyone else. She tells him he looks like someone who loves another woman and that his family is forcing him into this. He replies that if he knew someone else, he wouldn't have come at all, and then apologizes for the misunderstanding. She then tells him she will continue working after marriage because she is a working woman, not just meant for cooking. He admires her ambition and has no problem with it. After this, they begin to grow closer and start going out together. He visits her workplace and makes a romantic gesture, proposing to her in front of everyone. They hold the ceremony, get married, and start living a happy life. But then a global economic crisis hits and everything collapses. Samir is at work when he is told by management that he is being let go because the company is going bankrupt. He is shocked and unsure of what to do. He goes to pick up his wife from the bus station and finds her crying. He assumes someone has harassed her and confronts a man aggressively, but later learns she was crying because she had also been fired. He hugs her and assures her that everything will be fine. 3 months later, they meet a man named Nadim to apply for jobs in Oman. Samir decides he will go first to check things while she stays with her family, promising to call her once he is settled. She insists she will feel lonely without him. Nadim assures them that opportunities in Oman are good and the salary will be high. That night, Samir's father tells him he doesn't have to travel and can use the insurance money he saved for him. Samir refuses, saying he must work to support himself and his family. His wife overhears this and becomes emotional, hugging him and crying. The next day, Nadim comes to their house and says Nargis has been accepted into the company she applied to, but Samir's confirmation has not arrived because he applied elsewhere. He tells them she cannot travel alone, but she convinces Samir that it is only for 2 days before he joins her. Samir agrees and goes with his family to the airport to see her off. He tells her to call him once she arrives safely. Later, his mother asks if she has called, but Samir says her number is off and she will call once she gets a new one. Suddenly, she calls him and appears to be crying. She tells him the working conditions are terrible and people are treating them badly. She begs him to come and take her home, but the call suddenly cuts off. Samir tries to reach her number again, but it is switched off. He contacts Nadim's number, but it is also unreachable. Suspicious and desperate, he goes to the police with Nadim to report the situation and demands to know where his wife is. Nadim claims she never reached the company location in Oman and that they are still searching for her. Samir becomes furious, demands Nadim's contact in Oman, and insists on flying there immediately. The next day, he obtains a tourist visa and travels to Oman. At the airport, he undergoes fingerprinting and a blood sample collection. After that, he takes a taxi to buy a SIM card and tries calling his wife again, but her phone is still off. He also tries calling Nadim's contact, but that number is disconnected too. He writes everything in a notebook and asks the driver to take him to an address. The driver explains that locations are organized by area codes, and the code he has is incorrect. They discover that the code he was given does not match any real district, revealing that Nadim likely deceived him. Samir then goes to the police station, but is told they cannot proceed without the embassy initiating the case. He goes to the Indian embassy to report his missing wife. An employee named Sonia tells him that such cases are handled by the deputy ambassador, Mr. Mishra, who is currently out of the country. Samir refuses to wait and insists his wife is in danger. Sonia promises to submit an urgent request and asks him to follow up later. That night, Samir sits with the driver at a cafe while still trying to contact his wife. He suddenly remembers an important detail about her number and decides to visit a telecom shop. The driver tells him the shop will open in the morning and adds that he will be leaving the city soon. The next morning, Samir goes to the telecom branch and asks about the number, only to discover it is registered under someone named Shirazi. Anyway, he gives him his address and neighborhood location. He leaves and talks to Sonia while on the road, telling her he's going to this address and to talk to the deputy ambassador to tell the police to go behind him. He reaches the address finally, But the resident turns out to be someone else who says the address is wrong because Shirazi moved 6 days ago and nobody knows where he went. He shows him his wife's photo and asks if the girl was with him. He says he never saw her with him, or any other girl. He walks away shocked because there's zero lead to reach Shirazi. He goes to Osman later and drinks tea with him. Osman says he talked to a friend who might solve his problem with the embassy and make the police move to find his wife. His friend arrives and says Shirazi turned out to be involved, but Osman doesn't know how to bring it to him. In the end, he tells him Shirazi uses taxis to kidnap girls from the airport and make them work for him. He says they pressured him several times to do this against his will. He shows him her photo and asks if he saw her before, but he says no. He leaves the house crying and unable to breathe, asking him to help him find his wife. The next day, they take him to the Bateside area, a total prostitution district. He says they might find his wife here. They enter a house full of girls and the madam gives them photos to choose from, but he's looking for his wife and doesn't find her among them. He leaves and they go to another house. They start looking through the menu for his wife. Indeed, he sees her photo and starts getting nervous. He tells the pimp there he wants this one. He sends his assistant to see if she's available. He returns saying she's busy with another customer. He's beyond furious and wants to kill them, but he holds himself and says he'll wait until she finishes. After that, he finds his wife coming and she's drugged and unable to stand. He approaches her and says, "I'm Samir." He wants to take her and get out of here, but the pimp says he can't leave with her. At that time, she wakes up and says, "Save me." The pimp realizes they know each other and tries to hit him. Osman catches him and hits him to keep him away. Samir manages to hit the pimp and his assistant. After that, he takes his wife and tries to escape. The pimp orders his men to fire at them to bring back the girl who's escaping. They catch Osman and hit him while he's trying to escape with his wife, but they manage to catch him and take his wife from him. He goes crazy and finds someone with a weapon. He takes it and starts killing the men one by one in total madness. He finds the pimp coming and firing at him. He runs from him and goes up the building trying to escape from the men. Osman had escaped and reached the car. He goes to him but says, "I won't leave from here without my wife." He finds someone coming on a bike and hitting Osman. He catches him and hits him. He finds Osman unable to drive, so he gets in the car and drives off. People follow them and trash the car. They manage to get rid of them, but in the end, they crash into another car. After that, they pass out and the police come to catch them. We go back to the first scene in the movie where he's talking to the deputy ambassador, saying this is the whole story and he wants his wife to return to his country. He responds, "Give me some time and I'll bring her back to you." This is Officer Haafiz responsible for the case and working in internal security. He goes to tell them he wants to talk to Samir in private to reach a solution. The deputy ambassador tells him he recorded the talk and he can listen to it. He says, "Your recording isn't important. I'm the one who must talk to him." He goes to him and says, "So you came to Oman to cause unrest?" He says, "My wife is kidnapped and you're interrogating me like a criminal." He says, "Because we found Shirazi's body 2 days ago and don't know who killed him. Also, the driver with you is in the hospital unconscious. That's why we're interrogating you. Also, the house you said you saw your wife in turned out to be a tailor shop." He grabs him and says, "I want to know the truth before I lock you up." He finds his assistant entering with a car photo and photos of many houses. He tells them, "Bring him with us." They take him and walk with some criminals to transfer them to prison. On the way, they all get down and unbind all the prisoners so they can all pray together. He's still standing and remembering his wife. He goes to take the officer's pistol and kills them, but takes a bullet in his neck and falls. All this turns out to be his imagination, not reality, because they're still praying and he's standing in his spot normally. All prisoners get in the car except him. Haafiz tells him, "We found evidence to save your wife and you must be a fugitive in the eyes of the police so we can help you." He says come with me to make a plan away from the police. We go after that to the Internal Security Agency headquarters. The commander tells Haafiz and Taumana they must find the wife of the man who came to us from India because he's a traveler and they must honor him. He tells him, "Don't worry, your wife will return to you." Taumana later tells him the driver is still unconscious and you're the only one who will give them information to save your wife. He tells them first they agreed with Nadim, and he told them his wife reached the airport but disappeared after that, so the men go to the airport to start tracking her path. They enter the surveillance room to see her. Indeed, from among 50 cameras he manages to see his wife. He finds her leaving the airport and getting into a black car with a bald man. But his face isn't clear because his back is to the camera. Haafiz tells the man with them, "You must find the car number and the bald man's description so you don't lose your job." He keeps looking at his wife's photo and remembers the days they spent together. She's also being moved by car from place to place, and remembers her husband being sure he'll come to save her. After that, they find out the car she was kidnapped in is from a site called Love for Travel. They manage to hack their site and also find out the name of the person who rented the car. He also has a modeling site and his name is Isaac. All info about him is legal. Fizz tells them they won't be able to raid his agency because if he escapes, the gangs will watch out and disappear. That's why they'll watch him, and he'll lead them to Nargis. He's sitting in his house and receives a private number calling him saying there's a problem with this girl and he must kill her so nobody can reach him. He hangs up and tells his assistant to kill her. After that, Tamana finds out there's a murder case. She calls her men and tells them to bring Samir and come to the crime scene. They find out the body died 2 hours ago and has an Indian passport. Samir gets out of the car to see her and keeps crying, but tells them this is Zero, his wife's body, but he finds the medic pulled out her necklace. He realizes it's his wife and is shocked, and keeps crying. The next day, he goes to bury her and doesn't talk at all, remembering his days with her and sitting in grief. Fizz takes him after that and drops him at the airport to return to his country. He also gives him compensation from the government in a passport. At that time, Tamana is sitting in her office and the forensic report arrives. She finds out the body did not turn out to be Nargis. She tries to call Fi, but he doesn't answer. She takes her car and goes to the airport to catch him before he travels. She calls the airport to stop the plane, but the employee tells her Samir didn't board the plane at all. He has a plan to return and get revenge on the men who were the reason for his wife's death. He sees them while they're looking for him. He disappears and escapes from the airport quickly among the people. He takes a taxi and throws his SIM card. They go to their commander and inform him Nargis is still alive and Samir is still in Oman and will look for Isaac to kill him. Indeed, Isaac is sitting in his room making an email in a model's name, talking to him as if he's a girl saying, "I'll come work with you." The next day he sends him a message to meet him as the model coming to him, and gives him the address where they'll meet. Osman takes him and they return to the house, finding the intelligence agency there. They leave again by car and Osman tells him these people will help him, son. He says he doesn't want help. He wants revenge on whoever killed his wife. Osman says finish it, and I'll help you because I can't leave you like this in the middle of the road. He says thanks honestly, he doesn't want to involve him, but if he dies, bury him next to his wife. He leaves him and walks away, remembering his wife and feeling very sad. Finally, he reaches Sharm el-Sheikh, the city he wants. He stays in a hotel there and orders a taxi. He goes down disguised as a woman, gets in the car, and gives the driver a message saying, "Take me to Isaac's house and tell him a woman wants to meet you in private." He gives him money, so the driver agrees. They arrive safely. The driver goes to check the house, but finds it empty. As he gets out of the car and approaches, Samir removes his disguise and threatens him with a weapon. A fight breaks out. Isaac proves to be very strong and keeps attacking him, throwing him around, but Samir manages to grab a fork and strikes him. Isaac is barely affected and continues throwing knives at him. In the end, Samir grabs a pipe and hits him on the head. When Isaac wakes up, Samir shows him his wife's photo and asks, "Now do you know who I am?" Isaac responds that his wife is still alive and did not die, but Samir does not believe him, thinking he is saying it out of fear. He pours whiskey on him, preparing to set him on fire. Isaac insists, "Your wife is here with us in this house. We killed another woman so you would return to India. Now your wife is in the garage and if you don't catch her, she'll be taken to our boss, Hakan." At that moment, internal security men arrive at the house. They enter and inform him that his wife is actually still alive. Fizz takes the pistol from him, and Isaac says, "Good thing you arrived at the right time." It turns out he is a traitor working with them. He fires at Tamana, who grabs him so Samir can escape and reach his wife. They continue fighting. He reaches his wife's location and finds her, but the car is locked. He takes the car and waits for Osman to arrive with him. He finds Isaac came out and fires a shot in his leg, but they manage to escape after. Fizz is still fighting her and strangling her, and she tries to surrender like wrestling, but he finishes her off and she dies in the end. He reports that Samir was killed and also says Samir is the one who killed her. He reports to the forces to try to stop him because he's escaping in a black car. He goes after that to Commander Hakan to tell him everything. He responds that this is your mistake from the start. You should have closed the case. There's an informant seeing them and photographing them together. He talks to the internal security agency and lets them know Fizz is a traitor. Samir is on the road and manages to get rid of the people chasing him. He talks to the ambassador to tell him everything. He says the case is complicated because Fizz is accused of killing Tamana and he's now going to meet the commander to see what they'll reach. He enters the city and finds police cars chasing him and also a plane above him. He finds an ambush in his face but crashes into the cars to destroy them and continues his path. The commander knows the truth and sees the photos. Samir arrives by car to the security building and surrenders. The commander orders the men to bring him to his office. Before he goes up, he finds Haafiz in front of him coming to kill him. He finds the commander coming down saying, "You shamed us among the police and turned out a traitor officer." Samir exploits the chance and starts hitting him. After that, he goes out to check on his wife. They had broken the car trunk and as soon as he sees her, he passes out from joy. 3 days pass, they go to bury Tamana and hold a military funeral. Haafiz is also arrested. They gather some soldiers and hold a firing squad for him, finishing him off. He goes to say goodbye to Osman, who helped him find his wife, and thanks him very much and walks away. In the end, he's with his wife, who finally returned to him and hugs her.